we got up on what Shaggy's been up to when we watched the Shaggy and The Creep show. And be sure to stick around for a special bonus album review. It's just this way at the Dim Carnival.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dim Carnival. I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is us. Surprise!
Oh, shit.
We're recording this
back
on the Marijuana Day. So, hello, everyone.
The Marijuana Day.
Yeah. Well, smoke marijuana leaves and drink alcoholic beverages. So we got a little bit of different ones. So apologies once again for not listening to more of Hell's Pit. We stopped a year ago, and then we came back and didn't have Hell's Pit, and now this is like our third straight episode of not having more of Hell's Pit. My promise to you, the listener, is that the next time we record an episode, we will do more tracks from Hell's Pit.
Sweet.
Wow. Oh, are we not? Were we not ready to commit to listening to 3 songs?
Oh shit! Oh shit!
No, just
really
excited.
calling us out there. Well, no, I mean you just dropped the bomb on us right here live on the episode. So
Yeah,
that's all. I was just reacting.
Yeah.
I'm
excited.
I didn't think it was I didn't think it was outlandish. I mean, like, who knows when we're going to be able to record again? But
I guess.
What did we stop on Night of the 44 or The Witch last time? I think we stopped on Night of the 44, right?
Yeah, no fucking way. I'm gonna remember that shit.
Okay.
I mean, I got it written down.
Well, I know we didn't get up to bowling balls. That's all I know.
Right, that's true. That's got to be
true. So let's say next time we talk, we're going to talk about The Witch, bowling balls, and 24. I'm pretty sure we talked about the Night of the 44, but if we didn't, we'll talk about that one too. How's that?
Well, yeah, you can always check the Instagram before that episode goes up. I will make sure to put what episode or what tracks to listen to. Shit, man. What was I gonna say? Well, I'm already high, so there's that. Happy 420. Oh, well, I was just gonna say, I expected that we weren't gonna get back into doing Hell's Pit until we were gonna have regular episodes.
Oh,
and
okay. Well, whatever.
And
cut all that out.
I want to apologize to everybody for our irregular posting schedule, but I feel like we have the same like 75 to 100 people that listen to every episode.
Sure.
And so they're probably stoked whenever it pops up in their feed.
Well, the last thing that I'm seeing here on Instagram is that we only did the first 5 tracks off of Hell's Pit.
Yeah, that sounds right.
We only got to Truly Alone. Okay, so
that sounds right.
All right, then. Okay, whenever we get back to doing Hell's Pit, how's that? We'll do every Day I Die through bowling balls. So tracks 6, 7, 8, and 9. Every Day I Die, The Night of the 44, The Witch, and bowling balls. That sounds doable. That sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's too much to ask that, like, we'll listen to 4 tracks the next time we're doing a regular podcast. How's that?
I mean, I'm fucking down. I mean, I'm down to get this thing a ripping and a rolling. Where the last time we recorded, it was just going into this whole quarantine lifestyle that we're all living.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was about to say, like, the last time that we recorded this podcast, the world was relatively normal.
It was just like, ooh, what's this scary thing maybe that's going on?
My friend just tweeted at me today. I'm really glad that we saw ICP before all this happened.
Oh,
and I am very, very excited. I'm very, very thankful that I got to see the last 2 shows I saw before the apocalypse. I saw ICP, and then I saw David Lee Roth open for Kiss.
Oh my god! Yeah, amazing.
I got some stuff out of the way. Honestly, I want to go on record here as saying, other than punk bands, I don't understand why anyone would watch live music other than ICP or Kiss. Like, there's no what the fuck could you possibly get out of a concert that isn't ICP or Kiss? There's nothing to be gained or gleaned. I don't care how emotional your connection is with a music artist. Like, once you've seen either of those bands live, there's nothing that is going to compare.
Are you kidding me? Are you forgetting about our little friend Weird Al?
Well, yeah.
His shows are amazing.
I've only ever seen him at the Hollywood Bowl, though, so I can't. But I think something on that level. So a band that has a stage show and like costume changes and performances and explosions and Fago, like those are the only bands you should see.
I can't say I disagree, man. It's actually been
I think a Taylor Swift show is like akin to that. Like, she's got guest stars and like costume changes and a big set and shit. Like, that's cool. Like, but why would you go see a band that just plays music? Like, that's so fucking dumb.
You know, that's what I was thinking when Jason Aldean every year he gets Performer of the Year from Country Music Awards. And I've seen Jason Aldean live, and he just stands there. You know, there's lights and stuff in the background, but he didn't really move around a lot. And I didn't really understand why he was getting Performer of the Year, because he doesn't really even dance or anything. But then I realized he doesn't write his own songs. He just sings them. And that's what they're saying. That's what the awards for. Not his actual, getting up there and shaking his ass.
It's not live show of the year.
Right. Right. It's a performance or whatever. Performer.
Yeah.
But you'd think that since we're all locked down, that we would have more time to record a podcast.
Well, you're not. Well, the problem is, Ryan, that you aren't locked down. That's what the problem is.
Yeah, but I only work 25 hours.
If you were locked down, we could record fucking several episodes a week.
Right. It's unfortunate that our schedules still don't seem to line up somehow.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You guys know that we could pick, if we could get together, I have a window of about an hour and a half where all of us are allegedly free.
Right.
So we should be able to do this semi-regularly going forward, at least semi-regularly.
Right. We cracked the code. We think we figured it out.
Yeah, it's just the problem is with me with my work.
Yeah.
Because that's when I have most of my Zoom meetings.
We had this schedule lined up, and then like Steve got sick, and then like Steve had a meeting suddenly. So like
2 days in a row.
Yeah. So that's all. Life gets in the way, man.
Yeah.
You never know what curveballs are going to be thrown at you when you can't leave the house.
I just want to say that I'm not going to edit anything from this episode. So it's just going to be live, like uncut, So I want to apologize to everybody because I am going to smoke copious amounts of weed. It is 4:20 when we're recording it. So it's Earth Day, right?
No.
Uh-huh.
No, it's not Earth Day, but it's close enough.
That's the 22nd.
And it's also Steve's birthday today. Happy birthday, Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
He's all grows up.
So in celebration of both of those things.
Yeah. Blaze it. Smoke them if you got them, listeners.
I got my bong sitting next to me, and I got a glass of water, and I hope that I just don't mix them up.
Nice. All right. Well, anyway, we're talking about a couple things this week that aren't tracks off of Hell's Pit.
Yeah, if you're going into a quarantine, what you really want to do is like start a new show where you go out into the community and get within 6 feet of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What are we talking about here, Ryan?
We're talking about the new YouTube series starring very own or ICP's very own Shaggy Too Dope.
It's ours.
Shaggy and The Creep show.
Yeah. We made a decision to just watch all the episodes of this.
Yeah.
I believe we talked about it the last time we did an episode, right?
Yeah, almost all of them are out at that point. I think 2 or 3 more came out since.
And one just came out a couple days ago, which I think is maybe the best one they've done.
Well, that was their season finale, right?
Oh, was it? Well, anyway, so a little word of clarification here. We watched all the episodes, of which there are, I don't know, a handful, maybe a dozen. I didn't listen to any of the live streams or podcasts, which I guess there was one, like the first one was a live stream, and after that they became podcasts that they did live. So like there's episodes of like just like skits, and there's episodes of them doing challenges with each other, and then there's like a blooper reel of a supercut of outtakes. But the last one that they put up a week ago is giving each other tattoos. But basically, so it's Shaggy and his friend Kegan the Creep, and they just get up to some hijinks. And it all starts with an episode. It starts with a couple of teasers on their channel of wigs flying off of people. But then the first actual episode, and Shaggy fighting a snowman. But the first actual episode is we ran 25K for 25K. So right off the bat, I was very impressed by the production quality of the Shaggy and the Creep show.
Yeah.
Because they actually like super get like how YouTube shows work to a level. Like what this show has demonstrated to me more than anything else is that Shaggy 2 Dope is like way more clever and savvy than maybe we've ever given him credit for.
Same, yeah, definitely.
Like we've always known he was funny, but we always like, he always just plays such an idiot that it's sort of like, you know, you don't know how much credit should go to Shaggy for like being funny, or if he's just like one of those people who's like naturally funny but not necessarily clever. And I don't know if that makes sense, or if I'm meaning it as a bigger diss than I intend it to be, or what. But basically, I think what this show is demonstrating is that Shaggy is very creative and extremely funny and like very quick-witted and understands what things are funny and why, and has a very specific sense of humor that like isn't always like in line with my sense of humor, but more often than not, it is very funny. Also, Shaggy being put into situations, he always reacts incredible. He is always incredibly hilarious on like in the spur of the moment, and how he reacts to things. It reminiscent of one of Ryan and I's favorite things of all time, Steve-O saying filet mignon in
Yes!
between wrestling. It's sort of that sort of level of like spontaneity and comedic timing like isn't common and doesn't come to everyone. But anyway, we ran 25K to 25K for 25K. Immediately what I noticed was like the production value is on point. So it's the two of them, they're both holding cameras, and also there's one or two other camera persons who never appear on camera, and they do a really good job of like hiding the third camera person. And I mean, like, they're not hiding the fact that there is a third camera person, but we never see that third camera. Or I wasn't really looking that close, but like sometimes the camera persons, they're running a marathon. It's not a marathon. They're running like a 10K in Alaska.
Okay.
And
He says
what?
Juneau, Alaska.
Right, but I don't think that's actually. I think it was, but it was in Alaska, right?
No, it was in Plymouth, Michigan. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the
I kept thinking, because he kept saying different places in Alaska, and I thought it was actually in Alaska. But like they kept saying, like they keep giving different distances for the race, but
Right.
I think it's only either a 5K or a 10K.
It's actually I got the specs on the race if you want to know.
Oh,
man.
okay, go ahead.
The race that they were running in is the Kona Chaco Run, and it happens in Plymouth, Detroit. This run specifically took place on November 17th of 2019. And Plymouth is like 30.
And it came out 2 months ago, so that was their lead time for editing.
Well, and some of the episodes they recorded back in like March or April. I think I have some notes about that somewhere later on maybe, but they've been recording this since the summer, the beginning of the summer. And actually, so that first episode was one of the last things they recorded, I think.
Ah, okay.
But anyways, 15K is what they ran, which works out to be a little over 9 miles if you're keeping score in America.
I don't think they ran the whole course, though. Well, I mean, they walked most of it. But actually, I was actually very impressed by what they were doing. As someone who's ran multiple like long distance races, like I was very impressed at their ability to like sometimes sprint and like mostly like dick around. Because like it's not easy to dick around like they're doing. Like go down slides and then go back and run and walk some more. Like,
So here's what I wrote: is Shaggy in good shape?
yes.
What shape? Let's talk about Shaggy's shape. Can we?
Mini shapes. These mini shapes piled onto each other.
So, the way the style of these clowns, the way that they dress, you never really can, it kind of obscures a lot of the body shape. So I'm curious how long, I'm assuming that Shaggy's been sort of building up his physique over the years. And since I haven't really been, I haven't seen him live and stuff in 10 years, there's a lot of life changes that happen to us. But Shaggy was always, when I think about like Shockumentary and Choco's interview when she's talking about Shaggy and having like the body and all that, he's developed what I think is the perfect dad bod, like the quintessential standing next to the barbecue dad bod.
And like Shaggy's kids are grown, right?
I think his oldest is like 10 or 12.
I assume that his kids were like 25 and 23.
I don't know. He might have had like a first batch of kids when he was really young. I don't know. But yeah, he's got.
I forget it, while we're talking about old kids, someone I follow on Twitter recently was like, the sheer amount of he tweeted the sheer amount of TikToks that use ICP songs as meme templates pretty much guarantees that my kid is going to be a second generation gigolo. And I responded to him like that's like he was talking about like it's crazy to think that like we're now going on 30 years of teenagers discovering Insane Clown Posse. And I was like, wow. They are legends, like legitimate legends. That's crazy to think about though, right?
That's fucking wild to think about, man. Yeah, that message, that appeal is timeless, right?
For sure.
It's that kind of, that fun punk rockness. Really great.
So was that all you had to say about the racer? Is there more?
Oh yeah, no, that's it.
Okay. So they had a lot of lead time, which I think really speaks to the editing job that they did. Because, like, it's super edited for YouTube. Like, there's all sorts of sound effects and, like, replays and slow-mo and speed-ups and
the
jump
sound
cuts.
effects is my favorite.
Well, I knew it would
lots
be.
of parts.
I knew it would be, Steve.
Yeah, the editing on all these episodes, like, that was the first thing that I thought of when I watched this, is that it was really crisp editing. And when they must have combed through hours and hours and hours of footage. It's really a challenge to know what you get married to things. It's just really easy to overdo it. And I think that I'm particularly critical of editing and things always being too long. And so I really enjoyed the way that all the episodes are cut together. I thought they did an excellent job.
I will say this about the editing. I think it gets better as they go, like as the episodes develop. I think that the editing and the material selection gets better as it goes along. The very next thing that they uploaded after the 25K for 25K was a 6-minute 45-second bloopers and outtakes of that same video, which I also watched. So by the middle of 25K for 25K, I will admit I began watching the episode on 1.5 times speed. And then I watched the next several episodes on 1.5 times speed.
Nothing wrong with that, man. That's just normal viewing.
I got shit to do, but also like, I mean, I listen to podcasts on 1.5 times speed. It's not a thing. It's fine. It's still funny. Sorry to interrupt you, but definitely listen to Violent J's book at 1.5 times speed, like just for your own sanity. Imperative. It's imperative.
But his comedic timing is even improved at 1.5 times speed. So
yes, agreed. And I believe so. The next episode after. Sorry, do you guys have more to say about the 25K for 25K?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The glove was the best part. The glove.
The next real episode is who can make the better worse drink, and I believe this is the episode that starts with Cool Guys.
Is it? I think that might be right.
It is.
Oh no, that's the hottest hot dog.
Is it? Okay, so who can make the better worse drink is Kegan and Shaggy are in a club in Flint, I believe, somewhere in Michigan. They're at a bar or a club, and they've got a bunch of their friends, and they're both trying to make the worst drink. And I can't remember what the drink names are, but it's like a devil and a granny. Do you remember?
The devil's dick hole.
Yes.
and the gritty granny are the two drinks that they make.
Yes. And they have their friends taste them. And what this, I believe they debuted it with this episode, but it might have been debuted with 25K for 25K. Every time they upload an episode, they do limited merch for that, like based off of that episode. that's only available on the web store for like 1 or 2 weeks. Like they have like permanent merch, but then they have certain ultra limited edition merch, which I think is extremely clever. But for this one, they had like a devil's dick hole shirt and a gritty granny shirt that you could buy like one or.
And they're pointing at each other.
Yeah. So, but to me, the easily the highlight of this episode was when Kegan goes outside and just forces Shaggy to drink cinnamon. And then it's like 2 straight minutes of Shaggy doing that was the thing they had done up to that point.
That's a thing that you got to be funny to pull that off. Like, it's just that's a hard thing, and he does a great job. It's really, and it just keeps being funny because you think the whole time I was watching that, I think like, well, how long could this go on? And it keeps going. And he does a great job. Well done, Shags. Really well done.
Coughing out bursts of cloud. I don't know. I don't really think I have any.
Great.
Yeah, it was a good episode, but I don't really have any further specific thoughts. I just wanted to shout that part out.
Before I forget, one of the things, it's not about anything specific in a specific episode, but what I like about it is like how good of friends they are. Like I wasn't sure like going into it if it was just going to be like Shaggy always just ribbing this guy and like the guy's just getting dumped on, but like I mean it feels like it's like an equal ribbing of like each other and it's like a partner, and so I really appreciated that because I just wasn't sure how it was going to be at first. Yes. And
that's a really excellent point, Steve, because I was concerned not knowing who this Kegan guy is. Whether, Shaggy was just going to be picking on him the whole time and really like kind of lording over him or whatever. And the fact that they give each other like equal business and Shaggy takes it in stride, and it's just, they have a tremendous dynamic throughout the whole show. Their chemistry is really, really good. And that's what really makes it too.
For sure. And Keegan's ability to wear belly shirts is also a key component. So after that episode, we made the world's hottest hot dogs, and there are plenty of these episodes that start with like an unrelated skit, and then like opening credits, and then like what the video is actually about. And this one starts with Cool Guys, which is them shirtless and wearing blonde wigs going into a club and dancing, and I fucking loved it. It was incredible. And this week, and the week that they did this, they had Cool Guys shirts up for sale.
I like when they went in. This was an outtake episode where it shows them as cool guys trying to go into the hair salon, and the ladies are kicking them out. They're like, "We can't get a trim." Like when Shaggy walks in, like you can hear one of them in the background gasp. That would look so scary.
Right. Yeah, man. Shaggy especially just bursting in, going first with all of his tattoos. Like,
yeah, and the wig and the face paint. Like, it was... Oh, man, God, I laughed. I rewound that and watched it like 3 times.
Amazing. But this episode was the first time we find out that Kegan doesn't do well with spicy foods. But basically it's just them putting spicy sauce on 2 hot dogs and then eating the hot dogs. There's really not much to this episode.
It's not. I think the most impressive thing is the actual amount of hot sauce that Shaggy puts on his hot dog.
Yeah.
Because like he even says, those kind of things you usually put like 1 drop in a huge vat of chili, or use like a toothpick and put that much in there, and he puts like 4 big globs.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
And then this follows up with another spicy thing, which is the next episode, which is Shaggy sucks Satan's toe, which is the first of their many challenge to each other's episodes, which only ended up being like 3 rounds or whatever. But I love this episode only because there's even less to this episode than there was to the world's greatest hot dogs, because it's 7 minutes. He's supposed to keep the lollipop in his mouth for 5 minutes. It's a spicy lollipop, and he gives a short intro, puts the sucker in his mouth, and then it's 5 minutes of him just sitting there squirming. But the best part is he runs to go grab something to like catch all of his drool in, and he comes back with a cardboard.
Yeah.
Is the most hilarious and perfect thing ever. And then at like just like the last minute where he takes the the lollipop out and like retches and spits into the cardboard boxes.
And then it just ends. There's no like goodbye
and I'm
or
sure
anything.
there's some like that box has like some cool guys shirts in it or something.
I was completely enthralled
yeah.
this whole video,
Yeah.
just staring into his eyes while he fucking snot and just grumpy
Just like-
face, wringing his hands and groaning.
Yeah.
It was fascinating to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah, the snot is also very good.
It's like at the beginning, it's like it's not as bad as I thought, you know? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, the next episode is, I feel, the first real episode, which is, can they fix Shaggy's feet?
Ooh, took it
where-
to another level on this one.
It's not a challenge. It's not a contest. It's just the two of them go to a manicure parlor and get pedicures. And Shaggy has what they refer to as county feet. and so you say your feet look like they smoke. And the shirt that they made this week was a smoking foot.
Yeah.
Big foot that was smoking a cigarette. And like, it's a funny episode, and it's great because it's like there's some like really real shit in there. Like, the owner of the parlor like Googles who the fuck Shaggy is, and then comes back and is like, "Oh, you're famous," and like wants to take pictures of them, and like wants to like get them to do like, you know, like little shout outs for their social media or whatever, while they're getting like hot stone stuff on their legs and whatnot. But like, by the end of it, there were some close-up shots of Shaggy's toenails that like made me nauseous, and I'm not really a queasy type of person. But he has bad feet, is all I'm gonna say.
Shaggy's feet, I couldn't tell. My first thought was, this is a prosthetic. And how did he whip his sock off and have bare leg? Like, how do you twinkle your toes, Shaggy? They look so bad. What I thought of, the image that immediately came to my mind was Arnold Schwarzenegger's face in Total Recall when he gets sucked out onto Mars.
Yeah.
That's what Shaggy's feet really look like, Arnold's exploding face.
To me, what made it so horrible, like where it really turned a corner, was when they started putting the polish on, and the polish just got absorbed.
It's absorbed. Oh, fucking hell. This is so gross. Poor guy. He said he's been to so many doctors. That's a real problem, man. You got problems with your nail beds.
Well, they couldn't fix it.
Ugh. You know, but when she put the black on at the end, or whatever, they just looked real thick, but certainly improved. God bless those nail salon workers, frontline.
Yeah, I mean, there but for the grace of God go any of us. Further thoughts on this episode, you guys?
Well, I got a list of the things that they call his feet. He's got feet of a ghoul, George Washington's teeth. Peanut brittle. This is that one's mentioned multiple times. Goblins, smoking cigarettes with your feet, as you mentioned before, and the most accurate description comes from the man himself, Shaggy. Walnut shells.
Yep.
Really.
Thank you for compiling that list. This is vital. The next episode was a second challenge, which Shaggy challenged the Creep to chug an entire thing of Mrs. Butterworth's. I really loved it, and I think the best part was Keegan's reacting to everything that's like not related to the syrup chug. Just like the cameraman keeps getting right up in his face, and he keeps asking why he's so close, and then he's like, "Why are we sitting at the little table?"
Right.
And then he's like,
when the kids
what?
are coming home.
And then he's like, I keep getting it on my shirt. Like, it's just like everything's surrounding. And then he's got like a big bowl to like spit into. But like, the fact that they gave him like the Costco size of Mrs. Butterworth.
Yeah, 50% more thick and rich.
And then, like, when he gets halfway, but he realizes that, like, half of Mrs. Butterworth's is, like, a quarter because the hips go out.
Right, the dress balloons out at the bottom, yeah.
Like, if you look at the thumbnail, like, the top half is, like, not even close to half. Like, it's so little.
Right.
Anyway, I like that
so
one.
silent. My favorite part was Shaggy's intro where he said, "The roost has come home to crow." Because that's one way to say that. So.
The next episode is We Found All This on the Freeway, which has Shaggy wearing a wig and no selling it, and them finding things on the side of the freeway.
Oh, this is the one where I wrote. So they recorded this on April 29th, 2019.
Wow.
So, 7 months before the race episode.
Wow. That's crazy.
They start this one off by rolling through a drive-through, getting some spicy boys.
Yeah.
Okay. This was the intro to this one is where you was so clearly crystallized for me. Like, these two guys are really good friends. Like, when Shaggy's like waggling the money at him, right? Like, just waggling the money, and then Kegan doesn't take it. Like, that's such a pure, like, these guys are boys moment. It's great. And then they go get their spicy nuggets and eat them on a snow-covered bench or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they start dipping the nuggets in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Just to cool them off. I think a lot of these, does that to you guys look like the same park? To me, there's a lot of outdoor stuff that they do. And I think all this stuff is like right outside Shaggy's house. Most of the stuff that they record is inside Shaggy's house.
I think he lives by a...
Yeah, because the lake that he jumps in later when they do the polar bear challenge. But I mentioned the outside because we skipped right over it. They had a little intro, 20-second clip. One of the first things that they posted on the YouTube channel, and it's Shaggy dressed in a snowman costume, and he goes and confronts a real snowman.
Pulls a gun on him.
First he rolls up on him. He's like, "Wrong neighborhood, wrong fucking day," and then the snowman like pokes him in the eye or something. Slaps him, and then he comes back around. He's like, "Oh, he's gonna throw down," but then the snowman pulls out a gun, and I love Shaggy. Every line, every sound that comes out of Shaggy's mouth is perfect.
Yes.
In that. But yeah, that's I think we're really getting. There's another point I want to make about this is that they're really opening up their personal lives in this series. And for a guy, it was very bizarre to me because these guys were introduced to me when I was young as being extra secretive. Like, you just never knew anything about them. And now we have videos where Shaggy's wife is recording or, talking in the background and their kids are there. And so it was just I loved it because I feel like a connection with these guys, but I was just really surprised at how open they are about letting us really into their private world more. And I was kind of impressed.
Speaking of which episode has them trying to go visit Violet J? Is that this episode?
I was just about to ask that. I think that's this episode after.
That was, who's he talking to? That was at the end of Hottest Hot Dog. The tea party.
Oh, okay. So we missed
that was so funny. He takes a knife to the throat of the bear.
But I love that they made a skit around all of the stuff that clearly is at Jay's house because his daughter's a furry.
Yeah.
Yeah, his fucking Violent J furry suit is pretty outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good. Shall we move on to the next thing?
I just want to say the gold hat, Shaggy. They find a gold hat, and Shaggy says it's not even steel or whatever gold's made out of.
Tremendous. So good.
That's all.
So the next episode is probably my favorite thing that appeared on the entire channel, which is Shaggy does the polar plunge, and just he jumps into a hole in a lake, and it's 5 minutes long, and he has my two favorite reactions ever. The first is After he jumps in the first time, he yells, "Why is it so muddy? Why is it so muddy?" And then when he jumps in the second time, he yells, "Why does it hurt?" And then he takes his dad bod out of the muddy, hurtful water, and he puts some towels on and shuffles away off on the lake.
Yep, that's it, man. You got it.
Why is it so muddy? It's so like I've never like lived in a place where like lake's ice over or whatever. I've never gone like ice fishing. I've never been to a frozen pond. So like it never would have occurred to me that a lake would be muddy if you.
Yeah.
I've been in a muddy lake, but I've been in a muddy lake, but I've never been like had to be confronted with the reality of the mud, like mud sloshing up onto a solid surface.
Yeah, man. So I don't go in lakes. That's creepy shit, man. It's all gross there on the bottom.
Oh, I know.
Then the next we've got save big money with these DIY woodworking tricks. They're making a background for their YouTube channel that they never use, and then go to Home Depot and then do some DIY. And I think the Home Depot stuff is the best part.
Yeah.
Shaggy's wearing a Michael Jackson jacket, and it just they're just
I love the sound
bickering in the Home
effects.
Depot.
I love what he keeps saying. He won't say the sides, and so they keep doing the sound effect. Or he keeps making the sound effects. He whistles. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like, the what? No, but I can't whistle. I have cotton mouth.
Mm.
There's some really great displays of head calculations going on. Tubifers and such. But yeah, I was curious, Steve, as a previous employee of Home Depot, how do you think they did with their selection of materials and such?
Well, I worked in the electrical department, so I don't know.
Oh, you couldn't help them, huh?
No, I wouldn't help him.
Well, you direct them to the associate that would.
Yeah, I could ring him up.
What are they called at Home Depot? The workers? What are they called?
I don't remember. So yeah,
Oh, damn.
associates, I guess. I don't remember.
Some member of the Home Depot family you turned out to be.
I haven't worked there since 2004.
How dare you? When you're there, you're family.
Well, one thing, I never worked at Home Depot, but
Italianos.
I've never worked at Home Depot, but I do destroy things professionally. And so I've used the Sawzall a lot, usually cutting up like jets and stuff. But this
So
is
it truly do saws all.
Oh, it saws all. It definitely saws all. This is some extremely dangerous cutting that these gentlemen are doing. If you guys want to watch a video on how to be really unsafe around tools, you can watch this. There is like he almost saws through the electrical cord of the saw that he's using in the first cut. So bad, man. He's cutting on the floor, like with no sawhorses or anything. He should not be using that tool for the majority of the work that he does. Probably any of that cutting should be using a Sawzall for. But you know, they get it done.
Sure.
It reminded me of, I don't know if you guys are aware of a show, I think it's on Netflix, called Canada's Worst Handyman.
Mm-mm.
Well, this is a show I guess going to get my highest possible recommendation. I don't know how much you guys dig reality TV shows, but this is an amazing show where they bring in these guys who either know they don't or think they don't or think they know a lot about handyman work, and they assign them all these various tasks, and then they get rated by professionals. And it's amazing. It's an incredible show. That sounds like
sort of a ripoff of a really good show that we used to watch all the time called, not the three of us, but called To Catch a Contractor, which was hosted by Adam Carolla, which is a really good show.
I think I remember that show.
It's a really good show.
It's kind of like that, but funny.
Talk to family. Yeah. Well, the one you're describing is like the first part of what To Catch a Contractor is. Because to Catch a Contractor is they talk to these people in these families who like contractors started jobs or like did a really terrible job, charged them a shit ton of money, and then ghosted on them, but like remained in business in that town, like doing
It's like To Catch a Predator, but it's a bad contractor instead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they lure them into a new job, a potential new job, and then jump out and they're like, "Hey, remember this guy? You fucking ruined his house." And they force him to fix it. They give him the option of either fixing it, giving the money back, or going to court.
Amazing. Well, all right. Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, the next one is Shaggy taken to the hospital. Shaggy got, I think, neck surgery. Is that what they said?
Yeah.
And Kegan goes and visits him in the hospital and brings him some balloons and some gifts. There was a Shaggy and the Creep podcast live from the hospital, which I did not listen to, but I'm sure it's also very funny. But Kegan gives Shaggy some gifts and is a good friend.
I actually skipped that one. I didn't think it was a real episode.
All right, moving on. The next episode is using yoga to fight Corona, where at the beginning Ouija Mac is fucking around on a gurney at the hospital or something.
Right.
Yeah. And they go take a yoga class.
Okay, so I want to say I am not I'm not an expert about yoga.
Mm-hmm.
I've taken a couple of yoga classes.
Mm-hmm.
I have some friends who are certified yoga instructors. Actually,
Yogists.
yeah. And yoga was a big part of a physical rehabilitation program that I ran for a really long time. So I'm not saying I'm an expert. This is not yoga. Mm-hmm. What this whole episode is not any part of this is yoga. This is like a strip mall place where somebody like watched some YouTube videos or something about yoga and decided to open their own like therapies studio or something. Nice. Because like they're doing all kinds of weird stuff, like just regular stretching, which like people don't even do anymore in like PE class because it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
She does some like qigong. Maybe yoga studios incorporate qigong. I didn't really think that was a thing. And then they do have mixture of like westernized and like vinyasa flow yoga poses, but no type of like, in terms of a flow, like nothing that goes together, or at least from how it was presented. And that is a racket. And so I was really impressed. Like, I hope this lady is making a lot of money and having a great time with it, because it seems like she's kind of winging it through the whole thing.
Well, I mean, how many reputable yoga studios do you think are really in Flint, Michigan?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Maybe a lot.
Idea. It should be.
I would imagine there's a not insignificant number of things claiming to be yoga studios that just prey on people who don't know what yoga is.
And I mean, you know, I'm not trying to even really knock that because everybody got to hustle.
Sure.
It's like you're presenting a mind state or whatever, but the part that irks me is the like picking and choosing from all different like cultures and ways of thought, and like no historical context, no like spiritual context. Like it's just it's real petty. And
you know, it's also possible that studio or that space actually doesn't purport to be a yoga place, but Shaggy and the Creep are just using yoga as shorthand for what's going on here.
But what I thought is this lady like works the front desk or whatever, because this is like coronavirus shutdown, just getting into it, you know. Right. They probably had this booked and they're like, well, we'll let, you know, Alice, who works the front desk, we'll let her do it. Because I think she actually says at one point, like, this is a thing that I learned from a real yoga instructor. A trained yoga instructor or whatever. It's like, nice. Oh, you're an untrained yoga instructor. Yeah, nice.
Steve, any further thoughts on this one?
As much as they goofed around during it, I thought I was impressed that they didn't make fun of her more and make fun of it more than they probably wanted to. And so like the level of restraint and showing a somewhat respect. I mean, I love like this times when like they're like she's telling them to close their eyes and Shaggy's looking back and forth real fast, and then they add the or whatever. Like I love stuff like that. That cracked me up. But yeah, I do like when the instructor tells them, a yoga instructor taught me to take your bottom lip and press it firmly against your top lip. And then like they both start doing it, and then they realize, and Shaggy's finally like, oh yeah, she's telling us to shut up.
That's great. I'm seeing that there is another episode that I didn't watch called Shaggy and the Creep Milk Cows, Oh, that's like a Switch thing, right? They're playing video games. Okay, I see.
Yeah, I think that's a
All
stream.
right,
Also.
we weren't supposed to watch. We weren't supposed to watch that. But what we were supposed to watch was the most recent thing that was uploaded, which was 1 week ago, which I think is maybe the best thing they've done so far, which is we gave each other tattoos. The two of them weren't allowed to look at.
To watch it.
Oh no!
Oh,
no,
really?
Steve.
Yeah,
Steve.
I didn't think of it until you. I watched a trailer for it after another thing or something to that effect, or it started playing and I stopped.
There was
and I
a
was like, I'm
trailer,
gonna save. Okay, it was a trailer.
Well,
And
then we'll talk about that next time. Because Steve, you should really watch it, and we should comment on it.
okay, I'm sorry, guys.
But that's okay. But other than that, the two of you's thoughts on the overview of this and your general takeaways here.
It's just a lot of fun. Especially like in times of this quarantine and not really getting out, and even though I live with good friends, so I do get to visit, and I'm not completely isolated. There's something about the way the show makes me feel like, oh, my friend Shaggy and the Creep. like, I don't know. There's just something like very welcoming and chummy about it that makes me want to watch it. Not just because I know that they're gonna do something gross or weird. It's just fun to watch them be together, like hanging out and just doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. It's that whole. I mean, I guess while you were talking, Steve, what I was thinking is we shouldn't be surprised that these guys put out something that's fun, that makes you feel included. That's like what their whole business is about. But I just think they really, I don't know if I'm going to be able to say this well. I feel like they really walked that line well of having that sort of irreverence or whatever you would call like the Jackass style of like kind of that fuck off attitude, but still being respectful of the community, like you were saying with the yoga instructor, or when they're on the run, they're interacting a lot with the community on that 25K. And they're, even though they're like making fun of everything the whole time and just kind of having a goof, they're still like being respectful of everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just makes it makes me feel like part of it or whatever, that it's really, really fun.
Yeah.
Well said. So I think it's a lot of fun. I think I'm definitely going to try and listen to at least one of the episodes of the podcast because it's probably a lot of fun. But I can't say.
I would say I haven't seen all of them, but I watched a lot of them, and they're definitely worth putting on. Like, it's just them hanging out, literally. It's like
I was going to try like listening to one, but yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly them like interacting with the chat.
Nice.
So it's just kind of like as it goes.
Fair enough. Yeah, so that was fun. I'm glad that we could watch that. But we have one other thing to talk about. Ryan, you want to explain this?
Yeah, definitely.
Explain yourself.
I will explain myself. We got hit up on the Dim Carnival Instagram, at Dim Carnival, if you want to go check it out, by a rapper who had checked out our show and wanted to reach out to us. And his name's Skribbal. And shit, I'm fucking pulling up the Dim Carnival right now. So Skribbal sent us a message and he's like, hey, I'm dropping an EP called Quarantine Sessions. And it's got Blaze Your Dead Homie and Boondox on it. And so we were like, ooh, yeah, that sounds fucking rad, right? Mm-hmm. We want to check that out. So he emailed us the record. He asked if we would listen to it and, give our thoughts. And so, I sent it over to Steve and Bill and we all kind of listened to it.
Mm-hmm. It does not take much of your time to listen to. It's 8 tracks and they're all about 2.5-3 minutes long, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was really solid. Production quality is amazing. Guy's extremely talented. Got a great flow. Got a good voice. It honestly like it sounds like what would be a really solid Psychopathic Records release. Like it's good. It's creative. There are a couple tracks on there that I really liked. I'm just pulling up the names now so you guys can talk while I look that up.
Well, all right. So I'll say that the records he's got, I guess a couple records out or records coming out on Force 5 Records, which is a record label. I guess it's Chris Barnes' record label. Chris Barnes from Cannibal Corpse, 6 Feet Under, and then I guess Mars is on that. Not Mars from Dark Lotus, but Lotus. The other Mars. that's from NorCal.
Mm-hmm.
And who else is on there? I don't know. Saint of Cottonmouth, but Force 5 records. Saint of Cottonmouth, Kings, Mars, Danny Diablo, Scarhead. So yeah, it's got features from Blaze Your Dead Homie, Boondox, Aether Haze. The tracks are produced by Pragmatic, Rattlehead X, Apocalypse, who I guess Skribbal in his email mentioned that Apocalypse done like Nipsey Hussle, Snoop Dogg, Digital Underground.
Also, what I'm really excited about is he's got a new album dropping in the summer that has R.A. the Rugged Man on it.
Fuck yeah, RA come back. And actually ICP posted it on their, they boosted it on their social media that RA's got an album coming out. I don't think it's out, maybe it just came out. All My Heroes Are Dead. So new RA album, haven't checked it out.
Nice.
But looking forward to listening to that.
My favorite tracks on this EP, on Skribbal's EP, were That Kind of Love and Betrayed. But I did also like Under Alien Control. I also really like Come Get It. So tracks 2, 3, and 5 are my top tracks on the album. But it's good. Like right when it starts, it's like, oh, hey, this is like a legit. Not that it wouldn't be legit, but like, you know, this is good. Like as soon as it drops, like on Pistol on My Side, the first track, it's very good. But like what I really like about it too is like the first 3 tracks are all like really different sounds.
Yeah. Actually, because I went through and I was like, these are all almost each one is like a different kind of style, different kind of flavor.
Yeah, for sure.
The first track is more like kind of a more straightforward gangster rap. Is how I pegged it. Fucking hits really hard. I wish I had my old car with my old sound system. It would explode windows. It sounds fucking. It's a good like deep bass production. Like you said, it's really really tight.
Yeah.
There's like a gangster boogie kind of track. Come Get It. Mm-hmm. There's like the heartfelt like you know kind of like ballad. Mm-hmm. The horror track Betrayed. The Aliens track is my favorite. I love all that weird spacey shit.
Yeah.
I like how it ends. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, with the fucking laser gun hitting you. So good, man. I love that track.
It's good. It's a good EP. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
The only thing I would I haven't actually finished Tiger King yet. But like the only criticism I would make of the album is the last track is called Fuck Carol Baskin, and I've seen a lot of sentiment around Tiger King where it's that sort of troubling thing where it's like you're presented with 2 people and one of them is a man who is like legitimately a bad person and the other but like legitimately a bad person but super charismatic and like weird and like quirky. And like memorable, and then the person on the other side of it is like maybe someone who's done some things, maybe someone who is not a good person, but is like a very quirky, eccentric, weird woman, and there's like immediately a lot of vitriol towards the woman who like you were unable to prove whether she ever did anything illegal or unethical or whatever, but like the other person on the argument is like clearly a bad person who's in prison for doing horrible things and has treated his employees horribly and has treated animals horribly, and there's not really any argument about that, but like he's very fun and memorable and funny and like makes funny like country songs, so it's like people are taking his side. So like that's just a weird dynamic, which like I haven't finished Tiger King yet, so maybe it's revealed like, oh, they have proof that Carol Baskin killed her first husband or something. Like maybe that's how Tiger King ends. But like it's a very troubling thing where it's like there's one person who's like a bad person who's a man who is like eccentric or has a big personality, and then there's another person who's a woman and they're like, no, fuck that woman. Like how like everyone hated Skylar on Breaking Bad for like 5 seasons until like the show like outright said like Walt is the bad person. You have permission to not like him anymore. So I don't know. Am I out of line there? I'm sorry. I might be out of line. You guys haven't watched Tiger King, so.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I knew who she was because I've just seen it referenced so many times on Twitter, but yeah, I have no interest in watching that show.
Right.
But I just didn't like it. It just that particular song. I felt like all the other songs were so like well hitting and great flowing, and like actually had lyrics that I enjoyed listening to. And then that one just kind of was like, it was it's a niche song for the moment. It's a quarantine session. People are super into Tiger King. And like you said, it seemed, from what I understand, it seems to be that people like to beat up on that woman. So I like not really knowing as much as what you were saying or even thinking about it in those terms. I was just like, it's just like, just wasn't for me. It wasn't made for me.
What I do while I was listening to this, I was thinking like, man, there's never been a genre of like any sort of entertainment that is set up as well to cope with the shelter in place stuff than hip hop. Because as Skribbal has proved, you can create an amazing EP in quarantine in a short amount of time with stuff that's like extremely to the minute of the moment. And it sounds great. Like, he made this stuff at home. It sounds incredible. He got guests on it. Like, it's awesome, man. He did a phenomenal job. And like, I trashed the last track here, but like, I thought 7 tracks of this 8-track EP were fantastic. So, fucking go Skribbal, man. Thanks for sending this to us.
There were some
liked
lyrics,
it a lot.
like in Leech had some lyrics that I just like had to point out. Like, I don't even know how the flows even worked anymore. I just wrote down the actual part that made me laugh. And I mean, in this song, it's not funny. Like, it's not made to be funny music. And so, but to still have lyrics in there that still make me like, like one of them was blow your britches off. Like, I loved when he said that. And then I'm stronger than Ozzy with Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It's like, it's great.
Well, it was funny when Leech started out. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this song, because he's like talking about like squeezing his dick tip or whatever, and like, and then but by the end of the song, I was like, this song fucking slaps.
Yeah. Well, my first note was, is this Inspector Gadget music?
Awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed listening to it, though. I'm so happy he reached out and asked us to.
Do this. We're stoked. Thank you. We really liked it. Thanks to Ryan for orchestrating the whole thing. And if you guys want us to listen to your album, we can't necessarily guarantee we'll be as glowing, but just make something as good as Skribbal did, and you should be fine. It's easy.
I definitely want to thank Skribbal also. Again, I want to encourage everybody to go check out his Instagram, so you can get more information, check out other stuff on him. It's Skribbal Official. Skribbal is Skribbal. And actually, one of the things that's on there is, I can't remember what podcast it was, but there's a clip of Jump Steady that Skribbal was on there, and they played some of the record for Jump Steady and kind of got his thoughts. And Jump Steady pretty much nails it. He says, I love the like kind of grimy delivery that he's got this kind of growly kind of sound to his voice. He said the music fucking hits. Like, he would bump it in his car, he'd listen to it, and when you hear it, you want to listen to more. Like, it's not something that you just switch the channel or like, oh, that's good, and switch the channel. Like, no, I want to see where this goes. And I think that's a pretty solid review.
For sure. Way to go, Jump Steady. You did it. You cracked the code.
Huzzah.
I want to thank you guys for taking the time to do this, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again very soon. Thanks to everybody for listening. As always, you can hit us up on Instagram at Dim Carnival, Twitter at Dim Carnival. You can email us any thoughts, questions, concerns, love letters at dimcarnival@gmail.com. Is there anything I'm missing? Oh, leave a review, rate us 5 stars, and say your review. Best podcast that doesn't update. But thanks to everybody for hanging in there. Thanks. We always appreciate any listens we get, and we know you guys appreciate whenever we have a new episode, and that means a lot to us. So we hope everyone out there is staying safe and well, and that's all, right?
Yeah. Word up.
Well, until next time, do we say our names again at the end, or how does this work? Yeah, we do.
Wow, we're really rusty over here.
I've been Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're the Dim Carnival. Now go chug some syrup.
Cappuccino Cocos.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Looking around, wondering where we landed. The flashing lights got me in a trance, and the buzzing sound sinking deep into the sanctum. I think this is abduction and we're on a different planet. Looking around, wondering where we landed. The flashing lights got me in a trance, and the buzzing sound sinking deep into the sanctum. I think this is abduction and we're on a different planet. Now stop running tracks like a racehorse. Kick back on your rap, I'ma stay raw. Hit the hell and back, never slack, I go AWOL. Hopping in the crowd, hit the gas, time for takeoff. Back from Andromeda, slugs for the commoner. Jumping up the starship, murder is the moniker. Came to pull the plug on the planet, we the mafia. Soaking in the blood of the king is the conqueror. Slaughterer, fiend for the mob in the form. And the newborn torn from their mothers, now reformed. And the cybernetic soldiers drop from the shuttle. Shot through the time warp, march through the rubble. Looking around, wondering where we landed. The flashing lights got me in a trance, and the buzzing sound sink me deep into the sanctum. I think this is abduction and we're on a different planet. Looking around, wondering where we landed. The flashing lights got me in a trance, and the buzzing sound sink me deep into the sanctum. I think this is abduction and we're on a different planet. Time warp, I redefine war. My sword, whip through your life force. Like sword, the planet is a dying whore. Burn this motherfucker down like the live board. Intimidate, obliterate, and rebuild. Assimilate, shift shape, mate, feed kill. Feast on the weak, feed the young till they fall. So shall the sons grow and take control. Then the galactic assassin, work for the passion. Stepping on my turf, my bird will start clapping. Fuck Game of Thrones, I don't kill no dragons. Came from the side, bitch, Bilbo Baggins. Half man, half machine, feed us elevate. Just look into these eyes wide as they recalibrate and calculate the level of threat rate. So run, bitch, in 6 seconds your whole crew is done with. Looking around, wondering where we landed. The flashing lights got me in a trance, and the buzzing sound sink me deep into the sanctum. I think this is abduction and we're on a different planet. Looking around, wondering where we landed. The flashing lights got me in a trance, and the buzzing sound sink me deep into the sanctum. I think this is abduction and we're on a different planet. Humans need not fear. We and our people come in peace. Just kidding.